All right, let's get right into it. Probably the biggest, most stressful question in retirement is this. How do you actually turn that big pile of savings into a reliable paycheck, one that you can't outlive? It's a huge source of anxiety for a lot of people, and for good reason. The old school answers, well, they often force you into a corner, making you feel like you have to make a really tough compromise.
You've probably heard it framed this way, right? It's this big dilemma. Option A, lock in guaranteed income for life, but you have to hand over control of your money. Or option B, you keep full control, you call all the shots, but you're constantly hoping the market plays nice and that your money lasts as long as you do. So, which is it? Well, what if I told you that you don't actually have to choose? That the whole thing is kind of a false choice?
All right, so let's break this down. We're going to start with the two standard options, the traditional trade-off that most people are faced with.
Okay, first up is what's called investment drawdown. This is the one most of us are familiar with. You keep your retirement savings invested in things like stocks and bonds, and you basically pay yourself from it. You might follow something like the famous 4% rule, taking out a planned amount every year. The whole idea, the hope really, is that your investments keep growing enough to cover what you take out for, 30 years or maybe even longer.
And then there's the other side of the coin, the traditional annuity. This is also called annuitization. The concept is simple. You take a chunk of your savings, give it to an insurance company, and in return, they give you a guaranteed paycheck for the rest of your life. Sounds good, right? But here's the catch, and it's a big one. That transaction is typically irreversible. Once you hand over that lump sum, it's no longer yours. It's gone.
And right here, this is the classic problem. This is why it feels so difficult. With the drawdown plan, yeah, you're in the driver's seat. You have full control and flexibility, but you also shoulder all the risk. Market risk, longevity risk, you name it. On the other hand, with that traditional annuity, you get an absolute rock-solid guarantee. But you've got to give up all that flexibility. It's an irreversible decision. You can see why so many people just feel completely stuck in the middle, right?
So, what if that feeling of being stuck is based on a false premise? What if you didn't have to pick one of these extremes? What if there was a third option, a way to get the best of both worlds, a way to get that guarantee without giving up control? Well, stick with me, because there is.
So here it is. We're talking about the insured middle ground. This is a feature called a guaranteed lifetime withdrawal benefit. Or, let's be honest, we all just call it a GLW. And it was designed for this exact purpose, to solve that problem of being stuck in the middle.
And the beautiful thing is, the concept is actually super simple to grasp. The absolute best way to think about a GLWB is this. It's just an income drawdown plan, but with an insurance policy wrapped around it. That's it. You get to do the drawdown thing, but the biggest risk, the risk of running out of money, is handed over to an insurance company.
Okay, this is really important. I need you to hear this. A GLWB is not the same thing as that old school annuitization we talked about. Not even close. Remember, with annuitization, you surrender your lump sum. It's gone. But with a GLWB, you keep ownership of your account. Your account value is still there. It can still grow. You can hit pause on your withdrawals if you want. And maybe most importantly, whatever money is left in the account when you're gone passes to your beneficiaries. It's a whole different ballgame.
All right, so enough with the theory. Theory is one thing, but how does this stuff actually work in the real world? Let's walk through a few simple scenarios to see how each of these options really stacks up. So let's say you've got a $500,000 nest egg, and your plan is to take out $25,000 a year. Simple enough. But imagine you retire and boom, the market has a terrible year right out of the gate. This is what they call sequence of returns risk, and it's a portfolio killer. When you're forced to sell investments when they're down just to create your paycheck, it can do permanent damage. All of a sudden, that plan you had for 30 years of income looks pretty shaky. There is absolutely no guarantee. Okay, now scenario 2. You take that same $500,000 and you go the traditional annuitization route. The upside is huge. Your income is now 100% secure for life. Doesn't matter if the market crashes and burns. But the downside is just as big. That $500,000 is gone. Poof. There's no account value to dip into for an emergency, and there's nothing left from that pot of money for your kids.
And now for our third example, the GLWB. You put the same $500,000 into an annuity with this feature and turn on your lifetime withdrawals. Now, let's fast forward. Let's say it's a worst-case scenario. A mix of bad markets and your regular withdrawals means that by the time you're 90 years old, your actual account value has gone all the way down to zero. So, you're out of money, right? Nope. This is the magic part. Your income check doesn't stop. It keeps coming. The insurance company steps in and keeps paying you for life.
They took on the risk, so you don't have to. So after seeing all that, how do you decide what's right for you? Well, let's put the investment drawdown strategy and the annuity with a GLWB side by side and look at the things that really matter.
Let's just run down the list here. Income certainty? Well, with a drawdown, there's no guarantee. With a GLWB, it's contractually guaranteed for life. No contest. How about flexibility? Drawdown gives you total control, sure. But a GLWB is pretty darn flexible too. You can stop and start your income, and you can typically pull out an extra 10% a year if you need it. Market risk? You're completely on the hook with a drawdown plan. A GLWB shields your income from that risk. And finally, legacy. This is a big one. With both strategies, whatever is left in your account goes to your family.
And this really brings us to the key idea I want you to walk away with. This isn't about picking one or the other. It's not an either-or decision anymore. The modern approach is to blend them. You use a tool like an annuity with a GLWB to build a foundation, a guaranteed income floor that covers all your essential bills, your mortgage, your food, your healthcare. Once that's locked in, you can invest the rest of your portfolio with so much more confidence and, frankly, a lot less stress. Look, at the end of the day, there's no one-size-fits-all answer. The right blend is all about you, your goals, your comfort level, what helps you sleep at night. If you want to figure out what a custom plan that balances these guarantees with the flexibility you want looks like for your specific situation, we'd love to help. You can schedule a totally free consultation with us. Just visit our website at annuityexpertadvice.com or give us a call and speak to a specialist at 770-755-1565. Again, that website is annuityexpertadvice.com and the number is 770-755-1565.